Panther people, what up? These are my pound the table players I need to have on the team after the draft is done. You watch Panther Sports with Phil Perkins. Thanks for joining us. Well, it is draft time. This is unfortunately the Carolina Panthers playoffs right now. I think the free agency for Dan Morgan and Brant Tillis and Dave Canales, I think it's been applauded by fans and by analysts alike. And I think the Panthers go into Detroit feeling pretty good about where they stand. They got 2 second-round picks that I'm pretty excited about what they could do with those things. And these are some of the players that I would say are pound the table guys. If you're a scout, you pound the table. You put your career on the line for these dudes that you need to have on the team by the time draft weekend is done. I'll let you know who I want and why. Number one, let's talk about wide receivers. Let's talk about wide receivers. Number one is Xavier Worthy. I'm warming up to him. You know, I'm afraid when I saw him in the 40 time, again, I'm not a Texas lifer. I'm not a Longhorns dude. I thought they were very exciting this year in the college football playoff. I thought he was just a burner. I thought he was a John Ross type. I thought he was just a guy who could run straight, and that's about it. And he's also not on top of that, he is crazy undersized. He's like 6 foot, 160 pounds. But after watching his highlights and after listening to all the analysts and just hearing what they had to say, the people who do this for a living, this is a guy who's more than just speed. The way he runs his routes, and at the speed of doing that, the guy's going to get open with no cushion, with a ton of cushion. You know, people are going to try to play off of to try to compensate for their lack of backpedaling speed to keep up with his straight line speed. And with that, I think he's able to just shift the gears and cut on a dime, kind of like a Lad McConkey type, and then get open. And once he does, he is not afraid of contact. You always see those guys at the gym. You know, they look kind of scrawny. They kind of look like a track guy, maybe not a 100-meter guy, maybe a 300-meter guy. And you're like, oh, this guy can't be that strong. And then the guy's like squatting 400 pounds and benching 350. Like, I don't know if he's that strong, but he's the kind of guy who it doesn't think he's 165 pounds, 6 feet. I don't think he's that kind of guy. I think that even if he doesn't need to run 4.21 ever again. He could pack on a little bit of muscle. He could pack on a healthy 5 to 10 pounds of lean muscle and then really do some damage out there as well. So I am a believer in Xavier Worthy. Am I a believer that he'll be there at pick 33 or 39? I do not. Do I suggest that the Panthers trade up to get him? No, I don't. I really don't. But if he somehow falls into the second round and you're getting calls at 33 that maybe there's a QB needed team who wants a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix, maybe you trade down 1 spot, 2 spots. But I would stick and pick at 33. And if Xavier Worthy is there, I grab him. And then with the 39th pick, you get your offensive lineman, you get your cornerback. I think he's that good. I think he is that good. I think he is that much of an immediate impact. You know, Hollywood Brown type, maybe not Hollywood Brown. Who's the cat? Xavier Flowers type. If we can get a Xavier Flowers type or Devontae Smith type who just gets open, and then once you get a little bit of daylight, his acceleration is unbelievable. I think he could be a game breaker, and I foresee that he could have a game-breaking play for whatever team drafts him. So Xavier Worthy, he's the one guy I pound the table for. The other guy is obviously Xavier Legette. Why do I say obviously? Because this guy is making it so obvious. The Panthers are making it so obvious that they heart this guy. And mind you, it is lying season. Everyone's lying. You can't believe anything anyone's saying right now. And so the way this guy's saying, though, he's met with the Panthers like 4 or 5 times. And we're hearing that Dave Canales is telling him that he's going to be his Mike Evans type. He's going to be his DK Metcalf. And, hey, what did we see with Bryce Young? There didn't seem to be a plan. There didn't really seem to be any cohesion in terms of the coaching and how they're going to use Bryce Young. It seems like here with the Carolina Panthers and with we're the Tampa Panthers now with Dave Canales bringing in his guys from Tampa and some from Seattle as well. It seems like they at least have a plan with what they're going to do with Bryce, what they're going to be doing with the wide receivers. And if he sees Mike Evans and DK Metcalf and Xavier Legette, I say go for it. I think he'll also be available at 39. Even if you were to trade down, which we're now looking at, that when it comes to trading down, the winning side isn't really one that trades down. It's the one that trades up. And so maybe they stick and pick at 39. And if Xavier Legette is there in a world where, let's say, Xavier Worthy not available, and someone like Jackson Powers Johnson, or someone like a Zack Frazier, or Peyton Wilson, or Edgerrin Cooper, if those guys are available and you value them more, and Xavier Legette is still, you think he's still going to be there at 39, get that, and then Xavier Legette at 39. I'm all about that. I'll take that. I think he's a big body guy. Yes, he's a homegrown dude as well, and I think the Panthers need that in spades. You already see the love that they got from Jadeveon Clowney. You see the love that they're going to get if Stephon Gilmore becomes a Carolina Panther. And then on top of that, you got J.C. Horn, and then you got Xavier Legette. It's just too much. It just writes itself. So Xavier Legette is a guy that I need. Another dude, I mentioned him, Zack Frazier, center out of West Virginia. I want this guy because he's a dog. Every team wants a dog, but they have made it explicitly clear on this team. They want dudes who will literally, you take one arm off, and they will just continue fighting with the other one. They want them to be wild, just absolute madmen. And no one more of a madman is celebrated than the center position. Look at Jason Kelsey. The guy is making a career after football because he is a madman, just funneling beers, breaking through tables. He's a crazy person. He's Wolverine. That's 350 pounds. Zack Frazier's that guy. I'm sure you've already seen the clip enough times. He breaks his leg. He's a large man. Running on a broken leg sucks. But what does this guy do? He is a wrestler, which is, to me, is a prerequisite to be a good offensive lineman, a good linebacker, a good fullback, a good safety is wrestling. Do you have a wrestling background? Great body control, hustle. You're comfortable being close to the ground, being on all fours. That is where you live. You're like Bane. You grew up with it. You were born in it. You love it. And so he was scrambling around with a broken leg, still trying to make plays. So this guy needs to be on the Carolina Panthers. Give me him. I also like Braelon Allen. Braelon Allen, this man is the Hulk. You've seen the gym videos. Yeah, every running back is jacked. But also, there's some running backs who look like Marshall Faulk, who look like they've never lifted weights once in their life. But Braelon Allen is a tone setter. We got guys like Miles Sanders, Chuba Hubbard, and I always forget his name. I always forget his name, but it's okay. These guys they all kind of do the same thing. They're leaner backs. They're not going to punish you. I still think Chuba has improved, but he still gets down with the first tackle at times. He still runs a little high, in my opinion. Miles Sanders didn't show me enough last year in Charlotte that makes me think that he can really be much of a contributor in this offense. But I need someone like a Braelon Allen who, when he's in there, he's going to knock you out in the fourth quarter. He's going to punch you in the face. He looks dirty. Yeah, he's pretty. He kind of looks like the Hulk. But he's a guy, I think, who can get nasty. And I need someone to get nasty in the trenches with a revamped Ike Ekwonu, with Damian Lewis, with Robert Hunt, and with friggin' Zack Frazier running around with one leg. I would not want to face this offensive line and a rookie running back who's got fresh legs. He's got not a care in the world. He's got nothing to lose. Just go for it, man. Just fight it. And he's a guy who I believe should be a Carolina Panther at some point. If you're drafting him in day 3, make it happen. If you're drafting him in the 4th round, if he's still available, make it happen. Sure, you can also get Jonathan Brooks out of Texas. I just need a big, bruising back. We miss that guy. We miss that kind of player. We just don't have it in terms of the backfield right now. And we need a guy who can help block for on the backside or whatever for Bryce Young, who could also catch the ball, dual threat, but also just lay the hammer down. And I think Braelon Allen could be that guy. Okay, let's talk about defense. We can talk about defense for a second. Marshawn Nealon, edge out of Western Michigan. He is getting a lot of love from some of the scouts here. We're getting reports that the Panthers had liked him a lot. And again, this is a guy who can learn from the Jadeveon Clowneys, the DJ Wonhams out there, and just a developmental guy. Sure, can you learn from DJ Johnson? Maybe not what not to do. I don't know. But Marshawn Nealon, a guy out of Western Michigan, I'll take it. Western Michigan, tough place to play. Elements, they suck. I like anybody where the elements suck, because once you play down in Charlotte where it's still like 80 degrees by October, you're going to be flying. Speaking of Michigan, I don't know if he's going to be available, but if Roman Wilson is there, he is an asshole. Excuse my language. I know people watch this because they can watch with their kids, but he seems like a jerk of a wide receiver, and that's what we need. He seems like he's got, I wouldn't even say dog mentality. He's like a hyena. If you ever go on Nature is Metal on Instagram, you'll see hyenas or wild dogs. They're vicious. They'll come at you. They will end your life in ways that you would not wish on your worst enemy. And Roman Wilson seems like that kind. He seems like a couple screws are loose. And he is a guy who I'd love to see on the Panthers. I think he's the kind of guy whose helmet would come off after running up in the middle, catching a ball right up the middle, suicide pass, getting obliterated, helmet pops off, bleeding on his face. I think one of my thumbnails has him with his forehead bleeding and just still smiling like it's Christmas Day. I need psychos like that. I need psychos like that on this team, and he's a dude that I want. So those are some of the guys that I want on the Carolina Panthers. They can draft whatever corner they want. They can draft whatever safeties they want. They can get, Peyton Wilson would be great. I'm not too sure about the injury stuff. Edgerrin Cooper, I don't know enough, but I know that he led Texas A&M on all the defensive stats. So that's awesome as well. I'm down with that. But in my head, I'm thinking about 2025. I want my guy, Harold Perkins, on this team. So if we are drafting guys who might be getting in the way of drafting a Harold Perkins in 2025, I don't want it. I need that Perkins jersey in Carolina Panthers process blue. So they can draft whoever they want, but as long as they get my guys, Xavier Worthy, Legette, Zack Frazier, Braelon Allen, and friggin' Marshawn Nealon, I'm good. You can do whatever you want. You can draft Theo Johnson. You can draft Ben Sinnott. You can draft Sanders. You can do whatever you want. You can draft Luke McCaffrey. You can draft Brendan Rice. As long as you get these guys as well, I'm happy.